Hi, I'm Avery, and today, Carrie Story, the president of Clay Revolution, is going to be showing us how to use the Ring Maker by CMMC Tools. But first, we need to gather everything that we need. We'll be using some rolling gauges, as well as a snake roller to be able to press our clay flat, and of course, a traditional roller. One of the first things that we're going to do is take the size that we want to use of the ring maker and start to completely coat it with liberation spray. You want to be really thorough with this process because this can make or break your ring. Today we're using 960 silver, and this is by Project X, so 5-star precious metal clay. This one is a shrinkage rate of 22 to 26%, and the firing options for this are 1600 degrees Fahrenheit or 815 degrees Celsius for 1 hour to achieve the maximum hardness and durability. We recommend firing in a kiln on a ceramic or fiber shelf. So now we're going to go ahead and work on coating our ring maker plunger. This one here is a size 13. There are several sizes, but we recommend doing a size that's 4 sizes or so bigger than what you want your piece to be, because you have to keep in mind the shrinkage rate of the clay. We have a few different gauges that are set so we can determine the thickness that our ring will be. And what we're going to do now is, since our clay has already been worked and kneaded, we're going to flatten it a little bit more before we put it on our Teflon mat to press completely flat with our snake roller before we use our ring maker plunger. Now we're ready to press down firmly onto the clay, and you can see that there's a little bit of a plunger on the back that we can use after we go ahead and peel clay from around the sides and use a fine awl to cut from the inside to get the silhouette of our band. It's easiest to do it whenever it's in this mold itself, because it has something that we're cutting against instead of trying to freehand, since that can result in your ring being misshaped or misformed accidentally. The inner core of these ring makers are interchangeable, which allows the user to adjust the thickness of the band to what you would like it to be. They feature a little pin where you can screw them in and out. Now that we have our first ring done, we're removing a couple gauges to make it slightly thinner, so it won't be as deep of a ring this time. We're going to begin the same process, making sure that we add plenty of our liberation spray, silicone release agent, all around the inside as well as the outside of our plunger. This is a crucial step. Now we're going to go ahead and flatten with our snake roller like before, and get ready to go ahead and press our clay. We highly recommend letting the ring firm up just slightly, not dry, because you have to keep in mind that it shrinks some whenever it dries, but let it firm up so that way the shape of your ring isn't compromised whenever you try to plunge it out. What we want is for it to maintain the shape that it has from using the ring cutter, because this is a more optimal shape. So we left these in for about 10 minutes before popping them out onto our work mat. And when we say popping them out, they pop right out and they look perfect whenever they're done. And of course, this is just a process that takes a little bit of practice, but the ring maker makes it super simple to make great rings. With a little bit of trial and error, you can figure them out pretty easily. Go ahead and take a few minutes to do some finishing touches around the sides of your piece, rubbing them with your fingers and just figuring out areas that you'll want to focus on sanding. You can see the difference in the size for these two pieces. And now we're going to go ahead and start with filing before we move on to sanding with a foam sander pad. We like to do the bulk of the work with our file before we move down to those little foam pads, which are really great for being able to get into the middle of your pieces. If you need any sanding equipment, we have all of this available on our website. That's clayrevolution.com, as well as, of course, the Project X metal clay, which is not like other clays. So if you're new to this brand, then definitely scan the QR code that's on the package and you'll be able to see a video where we talk about activating the binder for your clay, which helps to make sure your clay performs at peak level, so it keeps it from drying out, and it just helps to activate the binder's elasticity. So it's a very important step. You can see here that we've gone ahead and swapped onto a foam pad, and you can start to see the silver really coming out whenever you're polishing like this and just buffing out anything with those sanders. You're going to want to make sure that the band will be smooth and comfortable on the inside, just because who likes a rough ring? Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is work on setting a CZ. So you can see here that Carrie has made a slot to set that CZ and is filing to make sure that everything is nice and even, very clean on the inside, and also leaving a little bit of extra room for that shrinkage. So you can see whenever she sets the CZ that there's a little bit of extra room on the sides. This is good because as the ring shrinks, it will contract and go inward, where it will start to hold that CZ a bit more snug. So if it was too tight of a fit, then it could break the CZ or it could pop it out. Don't forget that CZs all have different firing ranges. For example, clear can be fired at 1650 for 1 hour. That's the stone that we're using right now. So be sure to check out our website. If you look at any of the CZs, we do have a list of the different firing temperatures and ranges for each color of stone. So this is a great resource to be able to help you on your metal clay journey, and to ensure that once you make your beautiful creation, you don't lose a stone. These ring maker tools are really great because the finished ring always has so much versatility. So working with metal clay, there's so many different things that you can do. For this one, Carrie decided that she wanted to texture her piece. So she is using this tool, and you can see those little lines getting put into the clay and just really bringing out a cool pattern. You can do that on both sides, like what Carrie did. But all in all, these rings are so flexible to be able to be customized to whatever need or purpose you may have, or any experiment you may want to try. At Clay Revolution, we're dedicated to making sure that you get the most successful results that you can with our precious metal clay. So if you have any questions about Project X, or if you need any help with troubleshooting something with your clay, feel free to reach out to us on our website, drop us a message, and we are more than happy to help you. And don't forget, we do have all sorts of other videos up on our YouTube channel, as well as a blog where you can see more valuable information for your learning and just being able to further your knowledge as a metal clay artist. Whenever your pieces are all dry and engraved how you want them to be, we do recommend using a shrink stop, so that way you can help and make sure that your ring ends up around the right size for what you want it to be. And again, every metal clay will have a different shrinkage rate, so that'll be something to take into consideration whenever you're looking at the different clays and making your rings. Additionally, you want to be sure that you leave enough room so that way whenever your clay is shrinking, it doesn't end up breaking. And another thing to note when you're making rings, we highly recommend that if you decide that you want to use silver, that you use either a 925 or a 960 silver, because the copper content in it will make it a more durable and strong ring. That was a picture of the shrink stops. And after firing and polishing, here are our finished pieces. Carrie did a really great job on this one. So definitely check out the other videos if you want to learn something else about Project X Precious Metal Clay. And as always, thanks for watching.